think, shucks, sabi ko, di ako Promise, I'm trying my best not to cry because this is a very touchy topic for me. Hello guys, happy February. It's officially love month. So today's vlog is going to be about long distance relationships. But today's vlog won't just focus on the romantic side of long distance relationships, but also on other aspects such as my family, because a long distance relationship doesn't really limit to the romantic side, but there's also a familial side to it. The concept of LDR isn't really so new to me because I have a lot of close family members or close friends in that regard that are away from me, that are away from home. This vlog is just going to discuss how I deal with LDR and yeah, basically how all that's coming along. Admittedly, it's not easy. Long distance relationships are difficult. Yeah, they're difficult, but not impossible. Hope you guys stay tuned as I share some tips on how I face LDR. Nabanggit ko that Luigi and I have been in a long distance relationship since around late last year. Even before we started dating, we were already familiar with the idea that we were going to go out of the country for grad school. We were already entertaining the idea that one of us was gonna leave or both of us were gonna leave. So when we eventually started dating and when all the acceptance letters started coming in, we tried to make the most of our time together while we were both back home. First thing about long distance relationships or LDR, long distance in general, is that you have to accept that things are going to change. The distance alone is already a big change. Moving away from home allows you to explore outside your comfort zone. You stand on unfamiliar ground. You try to recognize yourself with what is strange around you. So basically, you're trying to adapt. You're trying to let yourself out of what you are comfortable with or what you are familiar with. Having said that, it also comes with the things that you do daily, such as your responsibilities, your priorities. Even sleeping patterns will change because of the time difference. You will have to prioritize other matters of where you are first before anything else. You have to look after yourself more than any other people. Basically, coming to a different place or living in a different place can really change you, you know. It's up to you whether it's for the good or if it's for the bad. For my case, I maximized this time to get out of my comfort zone, basically. It's definitely coming for you since you're in a whole different place, but make sure this type of change is the change that you want for yourself, and the change will definitely improve you as a person, and that will make your character better. Also have to realize that we should never forget where we come from. Having said that, here's my second point. It's completely okay to feel homesick. When I first moved here, all the excitement is buzzing in, coming in, you know, coming to a new country, moving in, fixing new stuff, getting busy with school, adjusting to the life here. There's this, I think I would call it like the honeymoon stage. Parang puro kilig lang yan eh. You always see the beauty in everywhere. Try to compare what you have back home and what you have in your new place. Parang fulfilling kasi siya. Parang, like what I said, nakakakilig siya. Nakaka-excite isipin na ang daming nangyayari sa'yo. And it can be, honestly, so overwhelming. There's going to come a point where all this is gonna die down, and that's when it's gonna hit you. And this is where the homesickness comes in. Now that it's my second semester here and I fully adjusted to the place, to the people, to the culture here, sometimes I couldn't help but think of home. I think of the comforts of my home. I think of my parents. I think of my family. I think of Luigi. I basically think of what makes me comfortable. No, home doesn't necessarily have to be a place because it can also be a person. The idea of home makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Feeling discomfort can make you feel unwell or ibang tamang term. I guess sick, hence the term homesick. Things like these are inevitable, and no matter how overwhelming things may seem to be wherever you're at, okay to feel homesick. That's one thing that I realized when I got here, that I have to be strong, I have to be strong, I have to be strong. No, it's something that I slowly learned that it's okay to feel homesick, that it's a completely normal thing, especially for someone who's going to be away from home or who's away from home for a very long time. Those who are watching this that's far away from home, away from their families, away from their partners, I truly sympathize with you. Feeling of homesickness, it really hits you hard. Masakit talaga siya, guys. The distance really sucks, but it's something that you have to learn to accept. Wala akong fear of missing out or FOMO. So, pag wala ako doon, or when I'm not in that event, nalulungkot ako because, you know, I'm missing out on all the fun, I'm missing out on talking to people, spending time with people. This is gonna lead me to my next point. I really believe that the internet does play a huge role in trying to close that gap for long-distance relationships. I understand that iba pa rin pag in person, ganon. That's the form of close communication that you have to suffice with in the meantime while you're away from your loved ones. As much as possible, I try to talk to my family every single day. We have a family chat room, and we try to send updates there, from good mornings to where you're going, updates on school or work or whatever. Simple updates can go a long way. Isa sinasakal ka ng family mo or sinasakal mo rin sila. It's the fact na knowing na magkalayo kayo and you're not physically close with them. The thought of knowing that you're safe and you're secure with that simple update. Wala pang Skype. Nung hindi pa uso ang Skype, ginagamit pa namin ng Magic Jack to call relatives sa States. Slowly, when Skype started emerging and FaceTime and other forms of video calling platforms, that's when things just got easier for people who are in long-distance relationships, you know. I understand that iba pa rin pag in person, ganon. That's the form of close communication that you have to suffice with in the meantime while you're away from your loved ones. Luigi and I try to Skype when we're free. Lucky if we get to video call once every 2 weeks. Luigi and I like watching TV shows or movies together back home in the Philippines, but since we can't do that since we're far away from each other, we use Skype's screen sharing option. Hanapin nyo lang siya, guys, pag may kausap kayo sa Skype, tas meron parang button dun sa taas, upper right yun if I remember right, where you can screen share, and this is where we kick back, relax, and just watch TV shows. Even if we're not together, it still feels like we are because of that. So, technological advancement, maraming salamat talaga. You really help close the gap in long-distance relationships. Setting realistic goals will allow you and your partner to establish what you want in the relationship. Do you want to come home? Do you see yourself extending? Do you see yourself working here? Is your partner going to move here? Are you both going to move back home? This will also determine the direction of your relationship. To know that you guys are on the same line with regards to something as challenging as long distance. It's not that pigilan yung sarili niyo from achieving your dreams. You also just have to think of other people that may have gotten involved. As long as you try to balance those out and you come to a compromise with your loved ones, okay ka. Airport goodbyes are always so difficult. It's always a cry fest. Been doing it for the past years for relatives who come and visit us in the Philippines, or when it's us coming to the US. After spending a great deal of time with them and it's finally time to part ways, nakakaiyak talaga siya, guys. Bakit ko naiiyak? Charot. I think, shucks, sabi ko, di ako iiyak. Promise, I'm trying my best not to cry because this is a very touchy topic for me. Hirap talaga siya. Especially if you're away from someone close to you, someone close to your heart. The best part about long distance is the idea of looking forward. One goal of looking forward to seeing them again is, of course, when the reunion itself happens. This is really good. Hirap talaga sa puso na makita mo ulit ang taong mahal mo. The feeling of finally seeing someone you love again after so long, it's definitely unexplainable. Parang lahat ng sakit ng naramdaman mo from missing them, the longing, homesickness, it all just starts rushing and it's all gone when you finally hug that person. So pro tip in facing long distance, even if it gets difficult, always remember why you did this in the first place. Remind yourself why you're here, you're doing this, why you agreed to do something so difficult but not impossible to achieve. Disagreements can get inevitable, especially when there's misunderstandings with some things, but not allow distance to hinder that into progressing in the relationship. In fact, I'd like to think that distance really makes the heart grow fonder, and it really strengthens relationship and trust. As long as you keep reminding them how much you love them. I think the most important thing here, remember why you started it in the first place and keep fighting. Because as cliche as it may sound, goodbyes are definitely not forever, because there will always be a joy of seeing them again very, very soon.